Kira for the introduction. I could not be more grateful to speak to all of you today. Thank you, Boca Chamber of Commerce, for this opportunity. In fact, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for one word: opportunity. The opportunity presented to me, my parents, and my grandparents over time have allowed me to become the student, leader, and woman I am today, and I'm thrilled to be able to share the journey with all of you. My foundation stems from humble beginnings. Being the daughter of an Argentine immigrant, I have watched the American dream come to fruition before my very own eyes. My paternal grandparents, who are supporting me in the audience today, chose to move from Argentina during the 70s, a time of political and economic challenges for their country, to New York with little resources and a lot of hope. Silvia y Raúl, les agradezco por todo lo que hicieron para que pueda estar aquí hoy. My father, speaking no English, entered the public school system in New York and began the education that would lead to his success as a board-certified civil trial lawyer nearly 40 years later. The courage of my father and his parents to venture into the unknown and take advantage of the opportunity presented to them inspires me to make the most of my education and make their decision to immigrate all the more worth it. My mother, a native Floridian and product of the public school system in Florida, was not able to apply to the prestigious out-of-state colleges I will be able to apply to in the fall. She nevertheless proved an academic success and was named an outstanding female graduate and member of the Hall of Fame at the University of Florida, and was recruited by Procter & Gamble, a Fortune 100 company. My parents' achievements laid the foundation for my academic career, one full of options thanks to their hard work and determination to succeed. I would like to thank them as well for being here today and for never failing to support me in my endeavors. I started to discover my passion for learning and desire to be academically successful during my time at Palm Beach State Academy. One of the substantial choices I made in middle school was to take 2 math classes in 8th grade, Algebra 2 and Geometry, when the opportunity presented itself. Taking those 2 classes would place me on the path of advanced mathematics I now enjoy in high school. Another important choice I was confronted with was where I was going to attend high school. One notable school gave a presentation at Palm Beach Day, looking to recruit new students. At first, I considered the option impossible. That school was St. Andrew's School. I thought I would attend Suncoast, the math and science magnet in West Palm, and didn't think St. Andrews was a practical option. I live in West Palm Beach, and attending St. Andrews would entail a 30 to 45-minute commute each way. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give up that amount of time daily and if it would work for me. However, the admissions representative brought up a new program for incoming freshmen, the Distinguished Scholar Program, offering merit scholarships to academically talented students. This certainly caught my eye, and I added St. Andrews to my list. A few months later, I received the exciting news that not only had I been accepted to St. Andrews as a regular student, but I was also going to be a distinguished scholar, and I looked forward to what the next 4 years would bring. The best way to describe my journey at St. Andrews is through its motto: mind, body, and spirit. The school's dedication to these 3 ideals explains why its students are so driven and well-rounded. First, I'll talk about the mind aspect, or academics. Starting freshman year in pre-calculus, I realized high school classes were a completely different ballgame. I learned to push myself further than I had in middle school in all my classes, especially math, for I knew the effort I put in at the beginning of freshman year would eventually prove important in the fall of my senior year. I quickly learned that 3 to 5 hours of homework a night would be the norm, and I would have to stay focused and driven if I planned on getting all A's, which was thankfully the result after freshman and sophomore year, although sophomore year was probably the biggest jump in academic difficulty I've ever experienced as AP classes were added to my schedule. I started with 3 AP classes sophomore year: AP English Language, AP European History, and AP Calculus BC. Thanks to the close relationships I had with my teachers, I felt prepared to take on this load and then to take 5 AP classes and 1 post-AP class this year. Of my courses this year, my favorites are post-AP Multivariable Calculus, AP Chemistry, and AP Economics. My math teacher, Mr. Mercola, has fueled my passion for math with his interactive style and interest in the subject, while my chemistry teacher, Miss Martin, a genuine role model, certainly keeps me challenged but intrigued as I discover more about the beauty of science. Combining math and science into a career is one option I'm considering for the future, but I am now also considering my 3rd new passion, economics. I first discovered the subject when my freshman year history teacher, Mr. Toth, brought up the Economics for Leaders program and recommended I attend. I applied and attended the program at UC Berkeley this past summer. Not only was the economics curriculum creative, interactive, and fascinating, but the leadership courses were also eye-opening and informative. The program combined leadership and economics, two topics I'm very interested in, and executed it beautifully. After attending this program, I chose to take AP Micro and Macroeconomics this year with Mr. Daly, and have loved every minute of it. Therefore, I will have a tough choice facing me in the fall when I'm applying to colleges and determining which of my passions will ultimately be the one I pursue. The second aspect of St. Andrews I will discuss is body, or athletics. Freshman and sophomore year, I played on the varsity volleyball team, but unfortunately couldn't this year due to a foot injury. With the yearly athletic requirement, St. Andrews ensures that its students receive a much-needed break from their rigorous academic studies and the opportunity to blow off some steam. Playing volleyball certainly aided me in relieving stress, getting exercise, and having fun at the end of the day. I also learned valuable lessons in teamwork, strategy, and facing adversity, as the student body came out to support and cheer for us, bringing me to the final aspect, spirit. In the traditional sense, the St. Andrews motto of spirit may refer to a spiritual or moral aspect. Although it was founded as an Episcopal school, students of all denominations attend, and the school takes time to encourage us to be good people and citizens of the world. Along with that, they want us to be well-balanced individuals. So another way to view the spirit aspect is the activities and pride students partake in aside from athletics and academics, entailing clubs and the arts. Freshman and sophomore year, I was a member of the Model UN team where I attended conferences in Philadelphia and received honorable and verbal mentions. The conference allowed me to develop leadership abilities while working in a team environment, practice public speaking, which you can see is now proving helpful, and learn a little more about what's going on in the world. Speaking of being worldly, I was also inducted into the Hispanic Honor Society this year, giving me the opportunity to appreciate and celebrate my heritage and make my family very proud. In addition, I served my class as a student council representative in 9th and 10th grade, which was very rewarding. However, the most significant club I've been a member of is the Mu Alpha Theta Math Club, of which I've been a member each year and am currently the vice president. Within the club, I compete in math competitions and extend my learning of math concepts not taught in class. The advisor, Lisa Weiner, a national TED Ed educator, is someone I've come to view also as a role model and who has inspired me to combine math and leadership. For example, last year after starting her work with TED Ed, Mrs. Weiner told me about the ability to create instructional math videos where students can teach students the material they've learned in class. I was immediately interested, and I guess you could say I was one of the guinea pigs of this program. With an iPad and some creativity, I started making videos for my peers about the concepts I learned in the past to better help them understand. The encouragement and opportunity Mrs. Weiner provided me has allowed me not only to help others, but better my understanding of the mathematical concepts themselves. Since the start of my collaboration with Mrs. Weiner in TED Ed, I have developed my skills in creating videos and recently entered a competition for it, the Breakthrough Junior Challenge. And my video submission ended up in the final 5% of 3,000 submissions worldwide. One reason I really enjoy making videos is that they combine math and performing, the next passion of mine. In fact, these videos are not the only instance in which I have been given the opportunity to perform. Sophomore year, I decided to try out for the school musical, Grease, and was fortunately cast as Sandy. Performing in the school musical aids me in the same way athletics does. It gives me the opportunity to contrast my rigorous academic schedule with something creative and fun. Performing in Grease was certainly one of the highlights of my sophomore year, and I look forward to performing in Fiddler on the Roof as Seidel this spring. It is March 8th through 11th for any of you who would like to attend our free performance. As shown, St. Andrews has helped me cultivate a well-rounded schedule and allowed me to develop all of my passions, and even combine some of them, whether it be performing in math, leadership and economics, or arts and academics. I have had so many opportunities that led me to where I am today, and there are so many ahead of me. Of all the choices I've had to make, the biggest one will come this fall, when choosing where the next step in my journey will lead. I've been looking at schools on the East Campus, on the East Coast, like Georgetown, UPenn, Princeton, and Harvard, in the Midwest in Chicago, and on schools on the West Coast, such as Berkeley and Stanford. I trust, no matter where I end up, I will be able to continue developing my passions and even finding new ones, after having such a superb foundation from St. Andrew's School. The most important notion I must remember, however, is that when given these new opportunities, I must remember the courage of those before me, my parents and my grandparents, and strive to always take advantage of them. For doing so has already brought me this far, and the journey has been absolutely unforgettable. Thank you, Mr. Shapiro and Dr. Barroso, for this incredible speaking opportunity, and the Boca Chamber of Commerce for being a gracious host. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, and go Scots.